Hey, good morning. Welcome back to Rise Up in Real Estate live stream. So we're here live. Those of you that are out there in listening land, there were some of you on my screen and all of a sudden they went away. I'm not sure what just happened, but anyway, I got my two best friends on here, so that's good. We are here in coastal South Carolina, going to talk about some stuff today that I'm excited about. Those of you that are checking in, let us know that you're here. We're going to talk about a topic that is a hot one. It's not AI. It's another hot topic. Just dig in a little bit. But before we do, I think it would be appropriate to chat a little bit with our esteemed panel of judges. I've been watching a lot of American Idol lately, if you can't tell. I don't know if do you guys watch that show? Do y'all watch American Idol, Lawton or Ashley?
Funny enough, I only watch it on social media as like clips. I don't watch the show.
It was remarkable this season. There were literally 4 or 5 people that could have won. The last 3 were really good, and the girl that won was, the last 2 were better than a lot of artists. Like, if, in my opinion, if Luke Bryan were to get up there and sing some of the, sing his song, he's very famous, sing his songs, he wouldn't be as good as these people that were on the show, which is cool. And Lawton, you don't watch it either?
No, not really. I haven't watched it in a while, to be honest.
No, you guys are just too involved. You're just growing too much. You're like focused on like personal development. You don't watch TV. Is that right?
That's the time I cold call at. It's that same hours.
You got a cold call at 8 o'clock. Start at 8 and go till 10. See how it works out.
Second answer.
Anything new? What's going on, Ashley? Anything new in your world? Is there any dirt moved yet? What's going on with the build? What's happening?
I know. Yesterday they went down to the permitting office and dropped off checks and all kinds of stuff to get those actually in place, which had been our holdup thus far, is that we had to redo some stuff when the county said you have to change this and change this, which took forever. But anyway, so yes, I'm hoping that means that we can start clearing the lot and I don't have to rent a chainsaw and start it myself.
I found my chainsaw the other day. It might be scary for you to think about me with a chainsaw, but you let me know. I'll be happy to sharpen that thing up.
Not scared at all. Are you busy tomorrow?
Let's do it. I mean, there's a lot of trees on your lot. I remember seeing that lot. There's a lot of trees. Are you leaving a bunch? Or you're going to do beezer and clear it all?
No, we're leaving some, but there's not like a lot that aren't just pine trees. So right. That was part of the permitting process, is you have to have a tree survey and then request which ones come out. And anyway, it's a learning process every step of the way. But no, I don't want it clear cut. I don't want it bare.
No, that's great. I gotcha. And you last time we were on here, I think you shared with us that your mom had your cough. Is she better? Did she recover?
Yeah, she's doing so much better. She ended up with pneumonia though, so she had to do a lot of stuff to get better. So I felt bad that definitely originated with me.
Way to go. I mean, it's a gift that keeps on giving, the cough that's around this year. Holy cow.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. Lawton, what's going on? What's new in your world? Anything fun? Anything exciting other than Duke basketball growing? And
No, I mean, not anything crazy. I made my first money from social media, so probably won't be on this real estate podcast much longer. But no, other than that, not a ton. Everything's pretty normal.
So you told me something about TikTok. Tell me what happened. Like, how did you really legitimately monetized it? And now you're going to retire. What happened?
Well, I mean, I can make money on it now. So you have to get to a certain amount of followers before you can make money. It's not probably ever going to get to the point where it's something I could do to make my income, but I've got to the threshold, which is not even very high. It's only like 1,000. So it's more a joke than anything, but we'll see. You never know.
That's great.
Have you received your first check?
Yeah, let me see if I can pull this up. I'll show you live how much.
I know it's normally rude to ask people how much money they make, but in this case, I feel like it's not.
Let's just get to the bottom of this here. I'm serious, Ashley. Go right for it. I love it.
I am going for it.
Look at there. See if you can see it.
$6.99. Are they going to take taxes
Yep.
on that? I'm so proud of you.
Personal income tax. It's the same as real estate, so it's really about $1.50. But
I mean, $6.99. That buys you. What do they call it at Cookout? A tray. You can get the junior tray for that. I mean, I'm so proud of you. You know what? my life is complete as a parent because look at that. My son's making money on social media. No laughing matter though. That's great. I mean, that's interesting. Who's on the show? You guys chime in. This is a live conversation. So if this is your first time watching us, we do this live and then we post it on as a podcast after it's edited. I don't know if the $6.99 will make it through editing or not, but once it's edited, it comes out as a podcast on all the podcast channels next Monday. So this is live. We would love your questions. We're going to talk about today top social media tips. I probably should have put media in there, not just social tips. People are like, we're going to learn how to ask questions, body language. 7% of communication is from eye contact. No, today is conversation about social media. And the whole theme of the season is the agent of the future. And I think things are changing in social media. We've got two social media experts on the show today, and not included. So Ashley and Lawton are going to answer my questions, and we're just going to have an open conversation. You guys ask questions too that are out there listening. We'd love to hear what you have to say, and see where you're coming in from. So Jared James has a training today at 12 o'clock. Did you see that, Lawton? I sent you.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna talk about social media. He calls social media now. Did either of you guys know what he calls it instead of calling it social media?
Mm-mm.
He calls it modern day marketing. He stopped using the words social media. And I'm not sure if that's what Facebook had in mind when they started back in the day or whatever the one was, MySpace or whatever it was before that. Like, was it really a social platform to just keep up with all your friends, or was it ever intended to be a business machine like it is now? But he calls it modern day marketing. So I think that's a good way to look at it. We've got Alicia on the show. Hello, Alicia. It was good seeing you yesterday. We had a fun day up in our Wilmington office, Remax Essential. And then Jen Cribb is here. Jen, it was nice having lunch with you on Monday. And look, we got people from all over the globe. I mean, literally all over. Well, maybe all over South Carolina. The globe's stretching it. Hey, Carrie. Carrie's got it playing in Somerville in our office down there for folks to listen to. So let's talk about it. I want to get first, Ashley. Let's knee-jerk reaction. When I say social media, and Lawton, I'm going to ask you the same thing. What do you feel? What do you think? As a person, as a businesswoman, whatever else you might do, what are your first impressions because of your position where you are and your personally and professionally?
First thing that comes to my mind is a love-hate relationship with it, I think. So I definitely invest time on social media during the day, and I don't really think that it's an investment. Maybe it would be if I were in local shoes helping people buy and sell, but for me, it might be more of a time suck. I really do love, though, seeing the fun things that people are up to, and I find that now I'm on it less and less because you don't scroll and see what your friends are doing. It is modern day marketing. I'm just watching ads for me to buy stuff over and over and over again more than I'm hearing people's stories. So a bit of a love-hate relationship. There's things I love about it, and there's things that really drive me nuts about it.
And what is your primary platform?
Oh, I'm the age that uses Facebook.
Okay. All right.
Facebook.
We won't ask your age, but the upper side of 20s. So for those of you that want to know that. And Lawton, how about you? When I say social media, Lawton's on the younger side of 20s. What do you think? I'm fascinated by your interested in what you think about it. First impressions when somebody wants to talk about it.
I mean, yeah, I think in terms of just like personally, I agree a lot with Ashley, the love-hate side of things, because I see a lot of negatives. There's also a lot of positives, but I definitely personally see all of that. Professionally, in terms of business, I think it's the best, cheapest, most profitable marketing. I think there's a lot of different reasons for that, but it gets me excited just what is possible through something that is right now free. I don't know that it's always going to be free, but the fact that anyone can create a following or create a brand of themselves, I think is really cool. I think we'll get into probably some of it, but I think that's what a lot of your aspirations for business or even just personally in your life are behind that, I think. So yeah.
And by the way, we're going to take two episodes to talk through this because I want I do want to do a deeper dive, and I want to get some questions from the listeners too. So we'll do this part 1 for 45 minutes, and then we'll do part 2 next Wednesday, so we can follow up with any other things. But I'm in the same category as you guys. Actually, it's interesting. I haven't heard anybody say that what you said, but now that you mention it, it's very true. I'm primarily on Instagram because I shouldn't say this on a public platform, but I got kicked off of Facebook. Now I'll probably get kicked off of everything. Oh, look at Jen. Look at Jen. There you go. Jen Cribb, Surf Cityans. Yeah, you guys aren't part of that group. You should hashtag that. Contact her. She's got she's built a machine, an engine for her business with that group. But it's interesting that you said that, Ashley, because when I'm on Instagram scrolling along, I do find that I'm being sold a bunch of things. Some things that we talked about in the kitchen pop up, which is a whole nother topic. Alexa is listening. But it isn't very much like finding out. Sometimes I'll see people pop up what their kids did over the weekend, or everybody went to the Myrtle Beach golf tournament, so everybody has fancy pictures by the sign. But it is a lot of, hey, buy this, or hey, look at this house, or whatever, right? Wonder if that was the intent. You think that was the intent when they created this thing, when the brains that said, let's put this social thing out there?
You would think that they would have to have that monetary end goal and not strictly have a plan of it staying as a way for people to connect and share photos easily with friends and reconnect with people that live far away. There had to be a monetary end goal. It is what I would imagine, but it certainly did not look or feel the way that it does now when I first joined. And I remember I joined in 2008, the year I moved here, because I actually had friends that made the account for me so that we could stay in touch. So I know that it was 2008 is when I got on the platform. It's completely different.
Oh, Lawton, were you on the platform in 2008?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I probably wasn't supposed to be if I was. I don't know.
Elementary school. So. They didn't do that in the 7th grade, whatever you were in. That's great. That's great. Yeah. So it's changed in that amount of time, which is interesting to me. You're welcome, Jen, which is interesting to me, how it has changed. Tell me which platforms you guys primarily use. By the way, Ashley is Director of Agent Development at our organization. So she was talking a little bit about her social media use personally. Professionally, she sits with agents all day long, helping them build their business. So I'm sure there's a lot of conversations you have about whether social media should be a pillar or not. And Lawton is an active agent, and it is one of his pillars, one of his 2 pillars of a very successful real estate business. So we'll dig into that. But what are the primary platforms that you guys are on right now?
I'll go.
Go ahead.
Consumption-wise, probably TikTok, but creating as many as I can and I can figure out. So there's probably 5 to 7 through creating, but consumption tends to be TikTok or Instagram, okay. But they're pretty similar.
What do you think? What are you doing, Ashley? Just Facebook?
Yeah, my first scroll is Facebook, and I now more regularly will get on Instagram. I do not have TikTok, which also drives people nuts because they want to send me reels and I can't play them. But I just don't need another distraction to scroll, so I just won't do it. And if it's in front of me, I will do it. So I'd say that. And then YouTube Shorts. I don't know if that counts as social media, but maybe in some way. And I wish I was smart enough to figure out LinkedIn.
Yeah, let's remind me, Lawton, that we need to talk a little bit more about LinkedIn because it is going through a transformation. How does YouTube fit into this? Lawton, I'm curious what you think of YouTube because I see what you're doing on social media. And by the way, you can share your handle or whatever they call it so people can find you. You probably
13 new followers. Here we go.
Here we go. Trying to build it up. I'm using my 6 people that are on here to build your business. No, I'm just teasing. So how do you think YouTube fits in all this conversation? It's not really a social media platform, is it?
I think it is. I mean, I think at its core, it's not. At its core, it was built to be a search engine almost. It's the 2nd biggest search engine behind Google. So that's kind of what it's become. But I think, initially it was created to, I think, almost be a social media channel. I mean, people were making videos that were social, they just happen to be longer. And now, since TikTok came to be, every single platform has said, oh, shoot, short form videos where everybody's spending their time, let me create mine. And YouTube has done that. And you'll get stuck. You'll think you're not on TikTok and you're not doom scrolling and you're on YouTube. You're doing the same thing. And YouTube, the cool thing about YouTube is it's the only social media platform that is feeding an AI source. And everything that comes off of Gemini is coming from Google, but also off of YouTube. And the cool thing about that is because this is all theoretical, but if we get one day to where everything's through AI, and that's instead of using Google, you're using AI. Well, if you're using Gemini and someone asks about a real estate agent in Myrtle Beach, right now I may never come up, but Jeremy or Nick probably would come up because their name's all over real estate on YouTube. And that's kind of a deeper down the road thing. But that's a cool thing about YouTube because it is one that has evergreen content that could still be good a year from now. TikTok, you're probably not going to have a video that a year from now people care about at all. So I do think it's social media. I just think it's a little bit different, I guess.
Yeah. Do you spend a lot of time creating content there, or are you just sharing some of the stuff over that you built in YouTube in TikTok?
I do all the same stuff is put there that I put everywhere else. I did a couple long form videos and I couldn't really get behind that. I didn't like it, so it didn't come through well. But yeah, I put everything the same there. I just kind of tweak it to be best practices for that platform.
And Ashley, when you're sitting with agents, because hundreds of agents a year that you're sitting with, what do you hear from them? Tell me what their impression of social media is. Is it genuinely age specific, the responses you get? And what platforms are you talking about with them mostly?
Yeah, so normally my first question to them is, do you like social media or do you hate it? Because if they don't enjoy it, it's not very likely that they're going to build a successful pillar of business from it. Now, if they at least consume, but they don't post, then I know that they at least like social media in some way. And then I will start talking to them about the power of marketing through these platforms that you have free access to. And if you're starting your business, now we're helping agents at all different experience levels, but if we were helping a new agent into the business, they have a lot of time and they typically don't have a lot of excess funds because they're opening their own company. So we'll talk about the fact that social media could be a time investment to be able to have that marketing channel, to be able to start building your pillars of business and have it be ROI positive. But if they just don't have any channels, they don't like it, they've never been on it, then I normally will talk about what other ways are we going to have the conversation about marketing. So I think that that's kind of where that conversation normally goes. And then my follow-up is, to me, there's two different ways to approach social media in a realtor's business. The first way is just being consistent so that people know that you're in real estate. It's all visibility. That's it. But what Lawton is doing is he's expanding his reach. People that don't already know Lawton now know Lawton and the fact that he's in real estate in Myrtle Beach, because he's using it to get outside of his own sphere. So one, I think, is sphere visibility, which is pretty easy and comfortable for a lot of people. The second one is uncomfortable, and that's starting to get content where anybody is going to watch it, see it, follow it, and turn into direct messages coming to you about buying and selling. So that's normally where the conversations go for me. Do you love it or hate it? And then are we talking visibility, or are we talking the true lead generation machine that has reach?
And what percentage of agents hate it in your experience, and what percentage are involved in it? Is it half and half, or?
No, I think there's a very small percentage that are resistant to it and a much larger percentage that are all in. Not that they love everything about it, but they see that it is important to move their business forward, and they like it well enough to utilize it in their business. So maybe 10 to 15%, and that might even be too high,
Okay.
For people that just don't want to embrace it.
Yeah, that's good. That's better than I anticipated you saying. I thought there'd be a lot more people, but that might be because of how I feel about it is shining through. Then I love the way that the perspective, it can either just be, I guess you ask them, hey, are you using it personally?
Mm-hmm.
If they're like, no, I'm not really on it. They can still, and this is what question we're going to get with Lawton, but they can still start using it professionally, even if they don't want to scroll and check out friends and waste their time doing that in their mind. But that's interesting. And is it age related at all? Like you joked, I'm in the age that does Facebook. What do you guys think? Is it because Lawton's young? What is there like if we had to be stereotypical, a certain generation that uses one tool more than the other, or not?
I think stereotypically, yes, but I don't think it's nearly as much as people think it is. And I think that there are 15-year-olds that spend all of their time on Facebook, and there are 70-year-olds that spend all of their time on TikTok. And it doesn't make sense, but it's because everything's going to video that if all it takes is your grandkids sending you a TikTok and you downloading the app, and then that's where you're going to spend time because you don't care. Again, like y'all are all saying, it's not really social media anymore. It's more interest media about what we care about. And that's going to happen on every platform. So I do think, yes, you'll see it through your analytics and things like that, that it is a little bit like that. But in my opinion, I don't think it's as much as people usually jump to thinking.
Right. And do you look at analytics for your usage at all, Ashley?
Very little. It's only recently that my personal page, they didn't give me a choice and flipped it to digital creator. Like before, I just had a personal page and had friends. And then they decided that if you had so many friends, you now had to have this account that was called a digital creator that gives analytics. Before that, I didn't really have it. So now I just give myself a pat on the back if I share a video of my niece riding a horse and I get more than 50 views. That's all I've ever looked at.
So you're a digital creator.
I know.
Yeah.
She just flexed on us how many friends she has. She goes, if you have enough, they bump you up, I guess, or something.
That's the way Ashley is. She drops these seeds of wisdom. If you had enough. So goal number one is to become a digital creator.
I started in 2008, Lawton, so pretty much everybody that I've known since I was your age is on my Facebook.
There you go.
Nice. How long will it be free?
Oh, I think that was Lawton's question.
24 months, maybe. I don't know. I think we're seeing more and more big companies come into it. And I think that at some point, I mean, maybe they don't, maybe they're kind-hearted, but I have a really big feeling that most of the owners of these big platforms aren't kind-hearted. They care more about business, and it's going to make more sense to start charging. I mean, you can already do ads that are not free, and those have been really good, and they're making money off that, but that's still underpriced for what it gives you. But I mean, I think at some point it's not. I just see it has to go that way with what you can do with it. I mean, I don't know exactly, but I would say 18 to 24 months probably.
And why? It's curious that you said, and you might not know the answer to this, that none of the language models, any of the AI, are not pulling specifically from social media, but they do from Gemini does from YouTube. How long before there is a relationship with social media, that, like the platforms we know of, and the language models like Chat or Claude? What do you think? Seems like that data would be interesting to them.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on. I would think for it to really feed one of the AI models, they would have to acquire it somehow, and I don't know that either party is going to want to do that. I think they're both going to be in a really good spot without doing that. But I think one day, I mean, I believe that one day we'll get away from phones and we won't be doing phones anymore. It'll either be watch or glasses or contacts or something crazy. And at that point, like, then I could see that AI is a much bigger player in it, and they might just take over Instagram because it's all going to be through our glasses. That, like, I don't know all these things, but I think until, like, the only reason that YouTube feeds that is owned by the same big company. So I think for it to really feed information, it would have to be owned by them. I mean, I'm sure I could look up on an AI source something about my TikTok, and it would probably be able to find it. But it's kind of scary to think about these social platforms feeding the knowledge that AI has. Then it makes you think AI doesn't know anything, because I could put whatever I wanted, and they had that problem. So I think we could run into that even more. So I don't know.
That's an interesting perspective that I was thinking of, is how does the language model know what's fact or fiction, because what percentage of social media is fact versus fiction? It's not 50-50.
Mhm.
It may be less than that. I mean, a lot of it's embellishments. A lot of it's I don't know, perspective. So that's an interesting point. Maybe we don't want it to go there, and maybe that's why it's not there. Maybe that's part of the reason it's not integrated. Lawton, so let's talk. Actually, tell us, and we'll just get into this as long as we can. And I'm open for questions from out there on the or opinions. If you guys have things that you want to share, like what's working for you, throw them in the comments. Talk to me about your relationship with Lawton and how it unfolded. You were director of agent development. You kind of have shepherded him for the 18 months he's been in real estate. Talk about how when you guys met, and I feel like it's a dating site. This is weird. When you guys met, how the relationship started, when you met with him for business planning and etc. Talk to about how this all developed with him using social media as a pillar of business.
Yeah, so Lawton was one of those agents that when I met with, he said, I don't really use social media, but I know that I need to for my business. So he was not actively participating, but he was consuming to an extent. And I think, if I remember correctly, Lawton, it was keeping up with what your friends were doing, but you weren't adding to the story to share what was happening in your life on any kind of regular basis, correct?
Yeah, just to set it straight, I was consuming like crazy, but I wasn't anything productively or posting, no. But it was mostly just to stick with the people that were around me, yeah.
Yeah. But Lawton is obviously incredibly smart and very tech savvy. So picking up the tools, it wasn't a hand holding step by step how to create an account and how to actually post, which some people need kind of that much guidance on. I don't even know how to make this and get it onto social media. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't compute. For Lawton, there was no threshold there. There's no barrier in his way to be able to pick up on all of those tools. So that was very easy. And then we also talked about I'm a big fan of easing into some things when that's what needs to happen. And you don't have to be only the megaphone on social media for it to impact your business. You can be a participant on social media in a meaningful way, and that can also impact your business. So we will talk about the 5, 5, and 5 rule with agents, and every day have a goal of doing 5 likes, 5 comments, and 5 direct messages. And the comments, if you can, make it an open-ended question so that people are then engaging with the comment. Do this not just on posts that are coming in from friends or acquaintances, but join some area groups that are going to be talking about things that you can provide value to. So it wasn't only being the megaphone. Now, Lawton was also happy to take the megaphone and say, here's the open houses I'm doing. Here's the home tour that I just got to visit. Here's the new construction going up in our area. Like, he did a fantastic job with that. But some of it was also being a resource and just participating in social media. So, I think that was the conversation that Lawton and I had, and he wanted time investment into his business and not necessarily dollar investment. And he wanted to build out of open houses as well. And social media just goes hand in hand with open houses. It's instant content. So he grabbed all of that and ran. And what I loved was that he didn't stray from those 2 things. He made those 2 things insanely efficient so that his business came from those 2 pillars. At the end of the year, that's where the dollars came from.
Yeah, if you were only doing those 2 things, the only other way would be a random referral or a call from a family member or friend, but they probably are seeing you active on social, so that would lead to that too. So you kind of picked Lawton. You picked 2 pillars of business to achieve your what we call the entrepreneur's mantra, which is probably hard for a 24-year-old newlywed, new homeowner to figure out what the heck should be my entrepreneur's mantra. Like, how do I get to the number that I want to make in order to live the life that I want to live? But once you figured that number out, you figured out those were just the 2 pillars of business, and you stayed relatively focused on those for the year.
I mean, it wasn't a coincidence that those were the 2 that when I looked down were free also. That was a factor. And because actually at the time wasn't married nor a homeowner, so I had these things in my future, and I'm thinking I got a ton of time, but I have no money. I didn't have the $7 on TikTok at the time, so like I mean that's honestly like dead serious. That's where it came from. I knew I would like open houses too because I like just seeing different houses and spending time inside of them, but it's not a coincidence that those were the ones that I knew I could get into for free and also make systems that made them a lot easier than they were at the very beginning.
Yeah. So did you know to push him towards free, Ashley?
I think in our conversation it came up, when I get to that section of business planning, it's okay. So now we've figured out what your entrepreneur's mantra is, what you have to live, what also you want to have for an abundant life. Now let's talk about how you're going to get that message out into the world so that you can have that number of transactions. It's not transactional, it's relationship based, certainly for Lawton, but you have to have transactions to earn money to live the life that you want to live. What pillars are we going to use? And the answers were open houses and social media. We run through the pros and cons. I'll normally review a handful of those pillars and say, here's the pros and cons. So postcard mailing absolutely works. You have to have a money backing to go into it to start farming a neighborhood. And you probably have to have 12 months invested before you're going to see any great return on that money. Open houses, super low cost entry, and you can probably have a return easily within 90 days if you're doing them consistently.
Excellent. I love that now you can get into those other pillars now that you have your income from TikTok. Now you can do a paid pillar of business. I'm proud of you.
Send one postcard.
One postcard, like 15 postcards, and you're done. Look, we got a special comment here from our buddy Tyler Morton. Shout out to Tyler, the AI integrator guru with all things AI. He mentioned somebody, Lawton. I was going to bring this guy up, Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V. Jab, 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 right hook. If anybody read that book, you should. It's excellent. Provide incredible value without asking for anything in return. Fastest way to do this is on social media. Recommend vendors and contractors through comments, and just be an active, helpful, and I talk about this all the time, human being, and the rest will follow. But the right hook is when it's time, it's time. Like, take advantage of the opportunity when it shines. Tyler, great to have you on the show today. Thanks for piping in. And I love the talk to me about Gary Vaynerchuk, Lawton. When did you get introduced to him, and was it at church, through a civic organization? How did you get to know Gary V, and how does he help you when you consume?
Yeah, I listen to mostly podcasts. I don't really listen to music, and I realized that I was listening to a bunch of podcasts that don't really have any benefit other than entertainment. And then we all know in real estate, I have a ton of time in my car. So I figured, why not find something that's actually beneficial for things? So I would listen to a couple still, but I listen to his all the time, and then I watch some of his stuff on YouTube too. Like a lot of the time during the day, I'm consuming something, and it happens to be him a lot. Obviously, there's certain patterns that I hope not to pick up on from him, but I mean, that part of jab, 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 right hook is a great, thought. I mean, that's for anybody. Gary Vee even talks about, like, if you're a plumber, instead of going and trying to call everyone to ask for your business, if you go on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or whatever it is and make 50 videos that are of you fixing little things in the house and being like, hey, listen, you're going to hire a plumber to do this. You don't need to. I can tell you how to do it. Walk them through fixing it. If you give them the full, everything that you get paid to do, if you put it all on for free on social media, what's going to happen is someone's going to get too lazy to do it, and they're going to call you because you gave it to them for free, and they're going to pay you. And it's like, you do have to have both. You have to give a bunch of jabs. You have to give all this advice, but at some point you have to know how to have a right hook. And if you don't have a balance of that, obviously it's going to be bad one way or the other. But I listened to a ton of his stuff. A lot of my thoughts on things align with his because most of them came from him. But I try to think about the realities of him, and he is a genius when it comes to marketing and attention and things like that.
It's interesting that Lawton and I are different ages. And when I started in real estate, I consumed a ton of Gary Vaynerchuk stuff. 15 years ago. And now Lawton is doing it now. It's evergreen content. Couple of comments. Heidi needs help with TikTok, Lawton. So lifeline to Heidi. Glad to see you on the show this morning. Alicia says, I have a copy of that book. Who needs it? So first one to put their address in here. I will share it with the world. So keep that in mind. But you can get a book, Alicia. Thank you. That's really cool. I've got some books here I can give away too. I've been meaning to do that. Like shirts. Like I got shirts. You would see my office. I got piles of stuff. Jen agrees with the jab, 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 right hook. And you know what? That's hard to do though. Like, let's be honest. The jab, 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 right hook that Tyler brings up and that Gary Vee talks about. We talk about dollar productive activities, Ashley. And some of that stuff doesn't feel dollar productive because there's not an immediate return. It's like your I don't know, like when you have to, none of you remember what it's like to prime a well, but I have to do that every year. I turn off the well. We irrigate our yard with a well, and every winter I winterize it. Every summer or spring I have to get the thing going again, and I have to pour water in it for it to have the pressure it needs to pull the water from out of the well. And who knows how much water I'm going to. One year it might be a cup. One year it might be 3 gallons. But that's similar. Like I'm pouring this water in with no return, and then at some point you get to a tipping point where somebody says, "I need you." And I guess that's the whole truth of building a business, right? Ashley, you have a group of people that are trying to do this, and they're trying to prime the well. They're trying to prime the pump, but it's not dollar productive. Do you ever get frustrated, Lawton, creating the content? Tyler could chime in here too. Creating it and not getting any return. Do you ever get disappointed when you see the views and you're like,
yeah,
oh?
I mean, yeah, if you focus on those things too much, it can be depressing. And I think like that's not the point. I mean, a big thing Gary Vee talks about too is like if you create good content, it probably will get views, but followers don't really matter anymore. Like the comments don't matter as much. All you're wanting is attention on yourself and what you do. And the person that wins usually is the person that has the most attention. I mean, there's people in our market, it's not maybe social media, but that have the most attention on them because they've done it for so long. They're making more money than people who have less attention. And it's the same in most businesses. But I mean, it's one of the things that you think Jeremy and Nick, when they first started posting videos, that wasn't dollar producing at all. Like it was, and on YouTube, it's even worse. They probably had 3 views, but I bet they think it's dollar producing now, and now they don't have hard of a time to do it. So it's definitely something you have to get through.
So it's not even as much resilience as it is refocusing your attention on the fact that it's not about the sale. And Gary Vee is the king of this. It's about helping people. The sale comes after I'm getting behind on Jen Cribb's comments. This is what she's been doing since 2008. Ashley, when you were born, just kidding. When you got onto Facebook, that was when Lawton was born. When I built Surfcidians originally, free ads for only local small businesses, positive influence. It's grown, and I now get clients through it who feel a warm connection to me, even though we've never met. They're in my groups. Nice when I get a call saying, "Hey, I'm on your page. Can you help me with this house or that house? I need to sell." It has taken years to get here. So she's like the original. Jen's the original influencer. Like she built this thing 2008. That's crazy, Ashley. That's when you got on social media. She started building. Now, here's the cool thing. Who's got a chance against Jen Cribb and Surfside? I mean, she's got a following now, right? As long as she continues to have, and obviously other people sell in Surfside. She's not the only one, but she's got a following now, and she's done it through contributing, making a contribution to those people. And I'd love to, maybe I need to have her on the show next week. Maybe we'll bring her on and let her talk a little bit about how you come up. Because I was going to ask you, like in Jen said, I already showed that. Unintentional, it was not for real estate. Yep, Nick's done that for sure on YouTube. Jeremy Blanton he's the godfather of that in our company anyway. And Nick has done incredibly well. But how do you come up with, let's talk a little bit, Lawton. I want to go through the timeline. So you had this meeting with Ashley. You decided, hey, I'm going to use this as a pillar of business. You start, what do you do first? I want someone out there to say, hey, here's a free pillar. I'm going to try it. Tell us how you actually did it from day one.
Well, I wouldn't advise how I did it, but what I did was I started filming walkthroughs of houses. And I think there's a way to do that. effectively, and I think it's good to get. I mean, I don't know that I would change it because I learned stuff from it, but it wasn't best practices of what to do right off the bat. But I just started anywhere I was because I was at the open houses, filming what I did, filming the house. There were times it was productive to actually film the house and post it in the right places and find people that were looking in that area. Um, but that's not the way to get the most attention. Those are kind of, at least to me, most stuff should be trying to get the most attention as possible. And then every once in a while, you can throw out something like, here's something for sale, or here's a story of mine, or something, because those aren't going to be as effective in getting new people to see you because they might be more boring to the outside world. But to the right person, they could be the most dollar producing because you might actually find a buyer or seller. So, I mean, initially starting out, what I would say is just document what you do in a day. And that you're going to think that's boring, and maybe it is boring, but there's somebody in the world that's boring also, and they're going to like it. And you're probably going to be surprised that you're not boring in what you do. But I mean, that would be my biggest encouragement. So if you do cold call, video it. I mean, if you want to hate your life, keep doing that. But if you door knock, video it. I mean, we've all seen these videos at some point of people just documenting what they do. We see these people that are documenting themselves in food trucks because they work in a food truck. And it seems so dumb, and I'm sure them thinking about it, like, why in the world am I doing this? Somebody probably thinks I'm silly from the outside looking at me in my truck, but like, it gets so much attention. That's where everyone's spending. I mean, if you look at your screen time, it will make you realize how much attention is on social media for most people. There's some people that don't, but so yeah, I would say the easiest thing is to document your day, what you do, and then you'll learn as you post. Oh, people don't care to see that. Oh, I looked dull right there. Maybe I don't show that next time. And that doesn't have to be spend a day in the life with a real estate agent, because that doesn't really work as much anymore like it did a year ago. But it could be, here's how I set up for an open house, or things like that. And then sprinkle some of your personality in it, and you're going to find your group of people somewhere.
I love that. Actually, I'm going to ask you a question. Jen Cribb says she doesn't have time to be on the show. She's too busy approving posts on her groups and social. Thanks, Jen, for keeping it real. I love that. So there's a couple things here that I love about what he just said, Ashley. And I know that you have people that sit in Lawton's classes and they watch his videos and they're like, they say to themselves, I'm not that funny. I don't say that because he got that from me. But do you have people that try to be somebody else? They try to act like something else, or they try to be a certain thing on social media? Or am I just imagining that would be a struggle for people?
No, I think you're right. And I think that those are the people that can't get into a consistent cadence because it's not them. It's not documenting what is happening anyway. So it has to be what you're doing anyway. And I love how Lawton just kind of even reframed it in my mind. I've always thought about open houses and social media going hand in hand, but he's right. It's like social media just layers on top of any pillar that you do. So if you cold call and you do a funny roll of how many hangups you got that day, people will watch that. You're just documenting the other pillar that you're also doing. It's just going to complement anything that you're getting done. So that's a really smart way of thinking about it. But I think I just kind of got off on a tangent there.
No.
That was really very helpful.
No, that's exactly where I wanted you to go with that, because the idea, I think, Lawton and Ashley, the idea, Tyler is Jen is Jen. Tyler is Tyler. I saw Vince Ramsey's on here. Vince is Vince. Ashley, you're Ashley. Lawton's Lawton. And you shared with me something a couple of weeks ago that kind of changed my mindset. You said, don't worry so much about, it was when there was this all conversation between Gary Vee, I think, and Jared James and Brian Buffini all were piping up about this comment that if you're not creating content, you're gonna go away. Like real estate agents need to spend 50% of their time creating content, and everybody was up in arms. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to create all that. And you said to me, document, don't create. Mm-hmm. Document, don't create. And that is like game changing for me. And it's ironic because when I look at stuff on social media, that's the stuff I'm drawn to, is lifestyle things, personally and professionally, not I mean, I do watch like the very high end, and I think Nick does a great job of it right now on YouTube, like the very flashy, like I'm in Hollywood listing video. But what I'm drawn to is somebody acting crazy in their kitchen trying to get dinner ready for the circus. So talk to me about that, Lon, because I think the secret is you got to figure out what your thing is. We were talking to Joey about this not too long ago, when we were playing that golf tournament. Like Joey has a platform that he's not taking advantage of. So talk to me about creating versus documenting in your mind. I think that's what Ashley was saying too.
Well, I also think it's ironic. This is just kind of a side note, but after that whole debacle between Gary Vee and Brian Buffini, I've seen a ton of posts from Brian Buffini. So don't bash somebody if they're just going to start doing what they said. Go ahead. If you're listening, he's not listening. Never mind.
He's on here. Hey, yeah. Brian, nice to have you.
No, I mean, one of the things Gary Vee says is that, and it's easy for him to say in the life he lives, but it's true for everybody. Like, if you view your day as a media day, right? Switch it from, okay, I've got a couple open houses today, or I have showings. Like, think about it as if you were a media day, like you're filming a movie, you're filming a TV show. View your days like that, and then what's going to happen is you're living your day like normal, but you're going to be creating content on top of it. And the good part is, I mean, if we're being honest, you don't have to post something. Like, the worst part you do is you create it and it's terrible, and you're like, okay, that's not going to do well on social media. But if you think about, I have to create 10 reels today, that's daunting. That's a lot of time, because you think about all the things that are go into it. But if you say, okay, I'm going to try to document 10 different things today, that becomes a whole lot less daunting, because probably you're doing 10 things that you could video. Now, there is the few that video might not work. There, if you've never seen something called Substack or these things, there is place for people that do written word, and at some point that's going to take off. Like, everything has its time. Right now it happens to be video, but if you're only, like, if you say I was terrible on camera, one, I probably don't believe you, because I think almost everybody could be entertaining in their own way. You don't have to be funny. I mean, I'm introverted as all get out most of the time, but I have found something that worked and I like doing it, but that'll come with time. Like my first videos, I listened to one last night, and it was one of the first talking ones I did. And I was like, I was just scrolling through everything. I'm like, why did this one only have 21 views? And I clicked on it. I'm like, because it looks like I'm going to die. Like, I look terrible. And I'm not even talking clearly. And I'm like, no wonder everybody scrolled past it. But yeah, if you view it as just documenting what you do in a day, I think you'll find something, you know, Joey with food, or if you documented having 37 kids and being 80 years old, like, you might get some people watching. Like, there's someone that relates to everybody. There's someone that would relate to Ashley's day to day. I'll never forget, Ashley one day came in and it was nowhere near Thanksgiving, and she was eating deviled eggs for lunch. And I've never seen somebody do that before, only around Thanksgiving. And I was like, if you filmed that, you never believe what would happen on social media. I am sure there would be people that, one, would make fun of you, and two, would relate to that. So I think it's just important to be yourself and put it out there.
I didn't even know that deviled eggs were only a Thanksgiving food. I thought it could just be a Tuesday and it was okay, but Lawton told me no.
I thought it was weird, so I don't know.
It's not the only weird thing I do, Lawton. I intentionally purchase them just to have deviled eggs because I love them.
Thank you for making our point. I mean, that's a whole story right there. You walking in Publix or Lowe's Foods to buy deviled eggs. I didn't know they sold deviled eggs. I've seen hard boiled ones in there, but never deviled one.
I changed my mind. I think it's a good thing now that Mandy said that.
See,
yeah, thank you. Deviled eggs are protein.
Oh, he changed his mind. He has them every day for lunch now.
Yep.
You're thinking, honey, I think you're thinking boiled eggs. We don't have deviled eggs. Is that how you spell it? That word looks funny. Look,
you don't have to put mayonnaise and mustard with them to make them healthier.
I'm ready to do that now. So, okay, Lawton, real quick, we're going to wrap this episode up, because next week, what I'm going to do, Jen, I wasn't joking. If you want to join us for 10 minutes next week or 15 minutes live, like on your face on here, I'd love to ask about how you built back in 2008, or why you even went there. I'd love to do that if you want to. But I also want next week, I want to start by doing this. I'm going to ask Lawton, what are the 5 or 6 things that you've learned in this process that you think would be very valuable? When I told him that we were going to talk about this topic, he got excited about it, and I want him to be able to share what he was excited about. So we're going to do that next time. Hold on, we got a comment. All eggs are a protein. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I'm getting a lesson here in protein. I love it, every second of it. And I forgot where I was going to ask. Oh, tell me, Lawton, if I decided I was going to document rather than create, or that's what Vince wanted to do, or Heidi, or any of us. Do I just do it with my phone? And what platform, like, how do you do it? You said you start in TikTok and go from there, but give me a 5-second, like, tell me how I'm supposed to do it. Because while I'm doing my day, I don't imagine I'm not just imagining, I just answered my phone. Hold on. I think that was scheduling my colonoscopy by accident. Didn't mean to do that on live TV. How do I should have been documenting that right there, but how do you do it practically for a guy that's 80 years old?
Yeah, I mean, from your phone, you don't have to get a camera. I don't know, not even joking, I don't know how Samsung phone will do, but most of the time a camera on a phone is good enough, even if you have to flip it the other way and use the back. But sometimes it is holding your phone up and talking to it. That's a big step, like, towards being more out there that you don't have to be at right away. I didn't do that until probably 6 months in. But yeah, just prop up your phone. You don't need a microphone. Most of mine doesn't even have talking in it. I'm just sitting on the side of a house and doing something. But if you pay attention, if you look at enough content, most of the ones that do the best are someone taking their phone, they set it up really fast while they're talking, and they explain something, and then it ends. And you don't even pay attention to it, but they intentionally shook the screen for a second so you got locked into it, and then they explain something that's relatable. So yes, just on your phone, propping it up somewhere is a good place to start, and then just being you in front of the camera.
And you do that inside of TikTok? Is that how you start it?
I do it on my actual just camera, and then I post something on TikTok, and I have it set up to where anything that I post there just gets saved to my camera app, and then I post it everywhere else.
So you take a video, because those of you guys need to find him on social media and watch his nonsense, because it's really funny. But you just prop your camera up. You don't even talk, I notice now, because it's all captions, most of it. And you're usually doing some physicality. Improv would say that's physicality, as you're measuring the house, or you're rolling on the floor, or you're hiding in the shower. But you shoot it with your camera, like your video, and then you don't edit it at all.
No, I do. You can do that in TikTok.
You can edit in TikTok.
I do it a little bit, yeah. But there's not a whole lot of editing that has to be done. There's AI now that'll do that for you. You just tell it the idea, it'll do the whole thing.
Tyler's probably listened to this entire episode and thought, y'all can all do this with AI. You don't even have to be a part of it, right? You can actually do it from the mountains, and it will do it for you. Okay, so that's a good place to drop off. I'm gonna do a few. Let's all do a few by next week. We can show them on here too. I know how to do that. But I'll also next week, Lawton, remind me that we want to talk a little bit about LinkedIn. Because I was surprised when you said to me the other day that LinkedIn, now there's like videos on there. It's becoming a social media platform. Like it used to be, I would go on there and I'd be like, I feel like I'm at a Chamber of Commerce meeting with a suit on, and everybody's just in there talking about their resume. It was really boring. But you think they kind of caught wind. I want to talk about that next week. That might be the next TikTok. I'm excited about that. Okay, so any last minute comments? Ashley, anything that is on your mind after our discussion today, or Lawton, just want to fire out there, or anything you'd like to talk about next week?
I want to talk about Dr. Lawton next week for sure, because that was fantastic. I think that might be your first like AI made video that you shared. Maybe it wasn't your first, but anyway, are you sad that I just told everybody it was AI? Just
no,
kidding.
I'm just glad you thought that. I'm glad you thought that was my first one, because there's been 3 or 4 other ones, so at least it's working.
Maybe I just don't see everything. Well, I'm not on TikTok. Yeah. So I do want to talk about Dr. Lawton next week. That'll be great. But
okay.
Just to that point of sharing on social media in a way that brings value to people without asking for anything in return, you can tell them every single thing that you do, and no one will take everything and replicate it to put you on a business. Like we've seen that over and over and over and over again. So don't be afraid to just share the answers to things, and don't think that you can't share this thing because now they don't need you anymore. Like just openly giving value, you absolutely will receive much more than when you end up giving. And I think social media is a great place to do that.
I mean, Jared, to make your point, Jared James' thing at noon today is free. It's a free social media class with him. And you can go on there for an hour. It won't be as good as this, but you can go on there for an hour and you can talk, you can listen to him give his spiel. And why is he doing that free? Probably because somebody's going to sign up for his coaching.
And watch, he's going to post clips of it afterwards.
Absolutely, 100%. He'll video it. He has a guy or a gal that does that. Lawton, Dr. Lawton, any last minute comments before we wrap this half of an episode up?
No, I would just say everybody try to do at least one a day. I'm posting 26 times a day. So somebody can do it once a day and just see what happens. Maybe you hate it, but try it for a week.
26 times. No pressure. No pressure. I love it. Great episode today. Thanks for sharing your wisdom. We will come back out. Hopefully Jen Cribb's going to say yes. 10 minutes on the show. We'll have Lawton back on here talking about the 5 or 6 things he really wants to emphasize. Dr. Lawton, thanks for being on the show. Ashley, thanks for joining us today. You guys have a great, what is this, Wednesday? And Rise Up Nation, thanks for being here. Talk to you soon.